Welcome to the Riskwiser Zone, the podcast where we dive into the world of stocks and finance to help you make informed decisions about your investments. I'm your host, Louis, and I'm excited to share today's top stories with you. We're starting off with a look at the Indian banking sector, where earnings growth is expected to slow down in the upcoming quarter. According to reports, the pace of earnings growth for Indian banks may halve in the fiscal year 2026 due to narrowing interest margins and a potential increase in bad loans. This is a significant development as the banking sector has been a key driver of the Indian economy. On the other hand, we have IFB Industries, which has gained 27% in 3 months, outpacing the ET Consumer Durable Index. The company reported strong earnings for the March 2025 quarter and plans to invest $220 crore across appliances, AC, and automotive chain businesses. While this is a positive development, analysts remain cautious on margin delivery due to rising competition from other players in the industry. It's also worth noting that the Reserve Bank of India has been taking steps to regulate the banking sector and prevent any potential crises. The RBI has introduced new guidelines for banks to follow, which are aimed at improving their financial health and reducing risk. As we navigate these complex developments, it's essential to remember that investing in the stock market always involves some level of risk. It's crucial to stay informed, do your research, and make decisions based on your individual financial goals and risk tolerance. We'll be keeping a close eye on these stories and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. For now, it's time for a break. We'll be right back with more from the world of stocks and finance on the Riskwiser Zone. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone. We're diving into the world of international trade, economics, and security in our middle segment today. Let's take a closer look at some key developments that have been making headlines recently. We start with Japan, where the government has announced plans to strengthen its identity verification processes for online banking transactions. As of April 2027, financial institutions will be required to use IC chip scanning as the default method of digital verification, in an effort to curb fraud and prevent the opening of fake accounts. This move comes as part of a revised rule aimed at preventing the transfer of criminal proceeds. In related news, Japan's Economic Revitalization Minister, Ryosei Akazawa, has downplayed the significance of July 9 as a deadline for trade talks with the U.S. The U.S. is set to increase tariffs on Japanese goods to 24% from 10% if an agreement is not reached by then. However, Akazawa emphasized that Japan will continue to engage in negotiations and consider what is most effective, without fixating on a specific date. Meanwhile, the National Police Agency has reported that the new rule is designed to prevent special fraud, including bank transfer scams and telephone banking fraud, which often involve the use of stolen identity. The agency received 83 public comments on the draft revision and is considering requiring the use of IC chip data for in-person identity checks in the future. On the security front, the U.S. has called on Japan to increase its defense spending to meet a global standard of 2% of GDP. This comes as part of a broader effort by the U.S. to strengthen its alliances and partnerships in the region amidst growing tensions with China. Finally, we note that these developments are taking place against a backdrop of increasing global uncertainty and risk. As investors, businesses, and individuals navigate this complex landscape, it's essential to stay informed and adapt to changing circumstances. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on the Riskwiser Zone. Welcome back to the Riskwiser Zone. As we wrap up today's show, I want to bring to your attention a story that highlights the complexities and risks associated with conflict zones. We're going to delve into the world of warfare and the human cost of fighting, as seen through the eyes of an ex-Wagner mercenary who fought in Ukraine. According to recent reports, this former fighter, Alexander Platov, shared his harrowing experiences while serving in the 110th Brigade, a Russian militia group. Platov's story sheds light on the brutal conditions and abuse faced by soldiers, including being locked in dog kennels as punishment. These allegations are supported by other ex-combatants who have spoken out about similar treatment. The 110th Brigade has been active on the Pokrovsk front, with intense fighting around Zelenypol confirmed by both Russian and Ukrainian military sources. Platov's account also touches on the motivations behind why individuals join such groups, with some seeking financial gain, freedom, or a sense of patriotism. It's essential to acknowledge that these stories are often multifaceted and can be influenced by various factors, including propaganda and personal biases. However, the fact remains that thousands of convicts have been pardoned and freed after serving in Ukraine, with some estimates suggesting that up to 50,000 individuals have been involved. The consequences of this conflict extend beyond the battlefield, as ex-combatants return home and struggle to reintegrate into society. There have been reports of violent crimes committed by veterans, highlighting the need for support systems and rehabilitation programs to help these individuals readjust to civilian life. As we examine this story, it's crucial to maintain a nuanced perspective, recognizing the complexities of conflict and the human experiences involved. The situation in Ukraine is a stark reminder of the risks and uncertainties associated with warfare, not only for those directly involved, but also for the global community. That's all for today's Riskwiser Zone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, invest with caution.